In this video, I'm going to show you about Dubsado's public proposals, which I think are such a unique feature to Dubsado that is really game-changing for a lot of businesses. So let's go ahead and dive in. Hi, I'm Laney. I'm a wedding invitation designer, and I'm also a certified Dubsado specialist. I love educating on how to run successful, streamlined businesses, and a good client management system is such a huge part of this. For certain types of businesses, public proposals are going to be huge. So I'll show you how to make them, tell you what they are, and give you some use cases for these to get your mind going. I review and show tutorials on tons of different client management systems, so check out our playlist while you're here for more Dubsado videos, or if you're still deciding if Dubsado is right for you. I have comparisons as well. And I have a 30% off code. So if you join, use Design by Laney, the code in the description of this video, to get 30% off your first month or year. So first of all, what the heck is a public proposal? So in general, in Dubsado, a proposal is something that you send to your client, and it includes proposal. It can also include contract and invoice, which is really great. It saves you the steps of having to send those three things separately. So when I send my client a proposal, they submit it, and then they can go through the contract and the invoice, and I can get paid all in one step. The only thing is that to do that, I typically have to have the client in the system first. So what a public proposal does is it functions as a lead capture, getting the client into the system, and as a proposal automatically together. What this means is someone could go onto your website and find this form, fill in their information, select the package that they want, go through the contract, invoice, and pay, and be totally done with all of that without ever speaking to you, without you lifting a finger. So I think there's so many good use cases for this. It's a great option for anyone who has slightly standardized packages. So if you're an invitation designer, you could use it to sell semi-custom invitation suites. If you're a photographer and you have 3 different packages, you can use it for that. If you are a coach or a wedding planner, you can do that. You can set it up with the scheduler in Dubsado, so someone could pay for like a coaching call and then go ahead and book that call right there, and you haven't done anything. You haven't even had to talk to them yet. So I think it's really powerful. You can also use it to fill a workshop, or if you're doing mini sessions as a photographer, you can set up a scheduler that's got all the different time slots. They can go in, put their information in, pay, sign the contract, get the invoice, and then also schedule their time slot right there. So it's really, really powerful, and I am very excited to show this feature to you. This is a quick one that I have designed. So you basically go in, they have to fill in their information, choose the packages. So say they want to choose this silver package. Let's see, if I try to select this one too, I can set it so it can only select one package. So you have to deselect. In order to change to gold, I say thank you. You can change all of this stuff on here. And then if you are the client, I'm the business owner, so I can't see it. There's a submit button here, which will take you right to the contract and right to the invoice. And the key is including these 3 features here. So I'll show you how to put it together so it all works just as it's supposed to. So you're going to go into Dubsado and then go to templates, forms. And in proposals, you'll just want to create a new proposal. I'll go into this one that I've already created. Now here, my logo is just an image field. If you're not familiar with Dubsado forms, I probably have another video on that by the time this is out. So go ahead and check that out. There's so many different options of how you can set these up and make them beautiful and informative and so many wonderful things. So we have a text box here. And then I have the client information. These are the things that are required in order for this to function as a public proposal. There's 3 things. You need client first name, client last name, and client email address. And you can let these fields say whatever you want. They're just short answer fields. But the key is they need to be required, and then they need to map to. So when you go in here, you can just say, what is your name? You can make it say whatever you want. You're going to click required. And then when you go to maps to, you need it to map to client first name. You'll do the same thing with last name, and you'll do the same thing with email address, maps to client email address. Those 3 things have to be required, and they have to be mapped to those correct fields. Now, I also added event dates. Since I'm an invitation designer, I need to know when their event is. And I've required that, and I've gone ahead and mapped that to the project date so that when it comes into the system, it'll automatically be a project on May 7th or whatever their wedding date is, which is just an extra helpful step for me. You can also ask plenty of questions here that don't map to anything, that aren't required, etc. But you just have to have these 3 in here. And then if you have any mapped fields, I have a whole nother video on smart fields and one on custom map fields if you want to customize that in any way, then those will just help you get set up faster. Now what you're going to want to do is put in any of your packages. And how you do that, I just made this one in columns. So use columns. And then this is a package field. So when you have a package field, you can determine what it's going to look like. I centered it and made this piece bold. You can change the font size if you want to. You can do so many different things. You can change the font. There we go. Lovely. And you can just do so many things here. Then you have smart fields. So when it comes to the package smart fields, you do total with tax, total without tax. You can do a quantity box. And so that means that they're going to have to just type in how many of that package that they want, if that's an option for you. And if they type in 2, it will multiply it by the price. So it'll say, 5,000 times 2. So if you're selling desserts, for instance, you could say how many guests do you have, and your package is maybe $15 a guest. It will go ahead and automatically do that math for you. I don't need a quantity field because I'm just doing one package. You can pre-select a package. So for instance, if you have a setup fee, a design fee, or if there's just one package and everything else is an add-on, you can say, okay, cool, this one's pre-selected, you have to get this, and then you can decide your different add-ons. This would be great for mini sessions, a workshop, a coaching call, where there's basically one offering. And then you can set minimum and maximum quantities if you want to. So all of that is in here. It looks like it's green, but it's not. And you can update this to look however you want. I'm just going to keep it really simple here. And then, as we said, you just have to make sure you have the first name, last name, and email address fields mapped somewhere on this form. Otherwise, it will not work as a public proposal. So then you go into settings. And you're going to want it to show the contract and show the invoice. If you don't have a contract for some reason for a job, you can do it this way. That's okay, but you are going to want to show the invoice if you want them to go ahead and pay. And then if the client can choose multiple things, then you'll need to click this button so that they can choose multiple packages. That's not the option for my example. You can add a payment plan here. This one's 50-50. So it would take them through the invoice and they would pay the retainer. That's 50%. And then, we would end up having the final payment due closer to their wedding date. You can add discounts, change a lot of stuff here. And then the main things you need to do to make this work as a public proposal are changing the privacy settings to public and then create a new project when this proposal is completed. You'll click yes here. So that just means that whenever someone does this, it's going to create a brand new project using those fields that they filled in, the email address, the first name, and the last name. And then for me, the project date that I have them to select on this example. Then you can apply a workflow. So this is if you want them to, after they've purchased, be able to fill out a questionnaire, send in information, schedule something using the scheduler, anything that you can do with workflows. I have another video on that if you're not familiar. You will be able to apply here. So I can just select Laney's workflow. And then anytime someone fills this out, it automatically is going to start that workflow. You'll choose where the project status ends up. You can customize all this. So for me, after they fill this out and book their invitations, they're now all of a sudden in the design section, or they could be in pre-design, or they could be in whatever different status you create for your business. And then you can also change the title of it, and you can use these smart fields. So this is how the lead is going to come in. So whatever is convenient for you. I change all my leads to basically first name, last name, invitations. So I know that this is invitations. If I created another public proposal for save the dates or wedding day stuff or escort cards, I would change that there. But this will always come in as first name, last name, invitation. So every time there's a new job created, it would be really easy for me to understand who it was. And then that's really all you have to do. I'd recommend saving this as a template after you're done editing it. And then this share button will have activated when you made it a public proposal. And that just gives you the option to send a link to someone directly and or embed this code into your website. So if you're selling a workshop, for instance, you can go ahead and say, sign up for the workshop here, embed this on your website, and then they'll be able to fill out all this information, go through the contract and invoice if you have one, pay the invoice, and get all the information they need there for the workshop. So I think this opens up Dubsado to a lot of new use cases that weren't previously available before public proposals, because you had to go in and get everyone to do a lead capture and then send them the proposal and invoice. Now you can do that all at once. So it really makes it a little bit more transactional and gives you the ability to add things in here like a coaching call or a workshop, something where they're just kind of one time working with you. And you don't want to devote quite as much time to it, but you want them to be in Dubsado with all your other projects. So I hope this was helpful in understanding the public proposals within Dubsado and got your mind going on some different use cases. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking of using this for, and I can give you some advice on how to do that. Check out some of our other Dubsado videos while you're here, and if you decide to go with Dubsado, then definitely use our code Design by Laney for 30% off. Thanks, everybody.